Hey guys, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, here with Val.
Hello.
Hi guys, or should I say our iHeartRadio Future Star artist.
Hey.
Wow.
Valley,
Hello.
how did it feel when you first heard that?
Really great. You know, it's one of those things that, again, you don't put it on the bucket list, you don't think about it, but it appears and the universe made it happen somehow, and we're just really grateful.
It's very validating, I think, because just like growing up listening to the radio, it was kind of just like, what? Like, we're those people now? So it's been very cool.
Yeah,
We're
totally.
really fortunate.
Yeah, that's so nice. It's so nice too because I am doing my show every day for 5 hours a day, and then you guys come on.
Lucky you.
That's
I
great.
know, and
Yeah.
it's like it feels like a little wave from my friends, you know.
It's nuts. I was literally driving back to my parents' house the other day, and I just like hearing your voice and just hearing like the whole world just colliding was insane. I was like, it's Shannon. It's our song on the radio. I'm driving to my parents' house. I feel like so proud right now.
Yeah, that's so nice. And Break For You is in top 20.
Top 20.
it's
It's crazy.
Guys, so much to celebrate.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's
Huge.
amazing.
There you go.
Like, insane.
Yeah, it's
That's
a big
sick.
like
Who's doing this?
family moment. I know.
Why?
I know. I honestly, I
The
wish
Bell
I understood
House.
like how, so I could like do more.
I
But
think all of our moms are calling in.
no, honestly, yeah.
It's the moms.
And
Our
it's a
fans
big
do
family
call in.
moment
I know
because when we were talking about this earlier, but it's like if I told my mom like, Mom, Break For You got this many million streams, she'd be like, cool.
What's a stream?
Like, what's that?
Right.
You know what I mean? But then for them, it's like, Mom, it's top 20 on radio. You know, we're like doing tours and doing these things. It's like that's like a format they like. It's just such a huge. It's been a thing in history forever, and it hasn't died. It's only got bigger, and it's like something they can really digest. So it's like a big family moment because a lot of the digital age is like something that a lot of people. It's hard to grasp what success is digitally because you know you can have millions of streams and not sell a single ticket and not be on radio and do all those things. But like when you're on iHeartRadio stations, it's like it's such a validating thing for like. The people we really want to make proud, which are our friends and family. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like the
totally.
reason
And
we do
it's
it,
such
so.
a good way for other people who might not necessarily know your music or hear you
Yes,
hear
exactly.
you, right?
The water
Yeah.
cooler talk for the parents is incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, well, my son is on the radio right now.
That's my mom every day.
Yeah,
It's
it's
an
incredible.
Yeah,
Literally every day.
100%.
It's an important form of discovery. But you know what? Like I think it's just cool because it's not something that you go to choose necessarily. I mean, you go to put on the station, but then it comes up and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. I want to talk about the shows that you guys have had the last couple days. Yeah. That sounded like so much fun. It looked insane yesterday
very
in
sweaty.
Toronto. It
Yeah.
looked like a sweaty
awesome.
show.
It was sweaty.
Were the Val Pals, were they singing back every word to all the
It
songs
was
that just came out?
so loud. It was insane. And they knew every word of the new record, yeah. And, I mean, the reason we did these shows because we just finished a 7-week-long North American tour. We're kind of in the middle of our biggest touring season. And, you know, we did 2 nights at Danforth. We've been doing some of the biggest venues we've ever done as a band. And I think there's a point, every artist talks about this, where it's just like you get to a point where there's a lot of people in the room and it's like, okay, we need to find ways to bring it back to like where it started. And we're kind of in our own like small version of that world right now. So we were like, let's put on 2 shows in New York and Toronto, 2 really important cities to us. And Horseshoe Tavern was the first place we ever played a show. I talked about it last night. We loaded in. We got like some promoter somewhere found us like a 10 p.m. slot at the Horseshoe. We played to like 20 people.
Yeah.
We played a Bruno's Mars cover. It was just not a
Rob
fun.
was wearing a fedora.
I was wearing a fedora,
Right.
skinny jeans, Doc Martens.
You should've brought that
you know
back
the
last
era.
night,
Yeah.
really, just-
We should have,
That
honestly.
would've- it was our first show when we wore black skinny jeans and white t-shirts and we all matched.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Stop.
an
It was
era.
an
One Direction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just brought it back. It was really nice to just like, kind of have a full circle moment. You know, you need to have those. Those are important. They ground you.
Totally, especially with all the success that you guys have been having. So, and congratulations on the album. It is
Thank
so
you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Such
Thank
a
you.
strong quality piece of work, and I know you guys
Thank
put years of hard work into it. So
sure.
did you have conversations about what you wanted the album to be before you went into it, and did it end up being that?
I feel like we did, but then you plan for that, but you don't, because
So many ideas. We were gonna call the record Stevie, and she got a tattoo.
I said, we need to call it now.
And then we
Yes,
didn't
we-
because
I
like
got
things
it
change
tattooed.
and lifetime changes.
Yeah, totally. I can imagine too. You want to also stick to the sound that the fans know and love, but then you also want to be different because you don't want to stay the exact same. So how is it navigating that?
when we made our first record, we were 18, 19 years old. We made this album at 26. Like, that's a big change, life change, no matter however you slice it. Like, we've grown, we've changed, we've experienced so much. And I think the importance is just don't overthink it. Let yourself have those growth moments. Let yourself grow, because at the end of the day, like, we're growing with our fans. Like, our fans around the world are going through the exact same changes as us, maybe in a different way, but like it has the same effect. And, you know, we see them grow older and change their hair and, you know, move away and see them in different cities. It's like we're living the same lives, like we truly are. So I think the change is never as drastic as we think it is in our heads.
Right. So. Rob, you said that the album was one of the hardest. It was the hardest but most beautiful season of your life. And then you also said there was a lot of like extreme ups and downs that went into the last 3 years of making the album.
Yeah.
Can you touch a little bit more on that and
100%.
what you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Being a band for so long is a challenge, and, you know, there's a reason why a lot of them don't make it. Yeah. You know, we're a 4-way marriage. We're 4 people that have to get in a room together, create honest, truthful art. We also have to run a business together. We also have to, I think on a personal level too, I think we're all going through a lot of mental health changes. And, you know, we checked into band therapy, which is something we're talking about more, because we used to kind of be like, oh, we like, no one needs to know we're in band therapy. And like, you know, now we realize by talking about it, people are like, wait, that exists? Like bands can go to therapy? And it's like, yeah, it's like we get together, we get to work on our chemistry, we get to kind of hone in on like what started this in the first place, why it's important. And I think we have to get through a lot of hurdles of, you know, do we still love each other? Do we still like doing this? Like, you know, there were some hard conversations of like, hey, like, are we down to do this still? Like, because we can stop if we're like, if we've hit our point, we've hit our point. So yeah, it was just a few walls to break through, but we made it on the other side.
Yeah.
We have an album, you know.
And then on top of that, it's like there's the 4 of us working together, and then there's 4 personal lives to also take care of. So it's like there was heartbreak, there was new love, there's beautiful things, there's sad things. It's just like, I think being in your mid-20s is like the time where you have to learn all your adult skills, unlearn all the things you learned as a teenager. You kind of just like are really figuring things out, like very hardcore, and also experiencing so many beautiful new things. So I think the record encapsulates so much of our experience as the 4 of us, figuring that out together.
Right. I saw something about the band therapy, and I have like in all caps band therapy because I'm like,
mentioned the therapy.
I love that though, and I love that you guys are talking about that too, because I think everyone should be in therapy. So especially as a band, like you said, it is a marriage. So
we have the best job in the world, but you know, Chris Martin always says like, you have nothing without your chemistry, and like, you know, it's the reason they're still a band. It's like, you really have to respect the chemistry. You respect why this even worked in the first place, and if you lose that, you have nothing. So it's like that needs to be really, really taken care of, because everything else falls into place.
Yeah. A lot of artists talk about how songwriting in itself is a form of therapy. Do you take things from the therapy and then put that into songwriting? Does that go hand in hand?
100%. Like we came up with the album title in track, therapy. Yeah. Like like Lost Translation was born, through a conversation with our band therapist. So yeah, it's like weaved in throughout the whole record.
Do you feel the pressure of a second album?
Yes, there was a lot of pressure, but again, I think we had to talk ourselves. Not anymore. No, I think like now it's like, okay, we got through this second album slump, as people call it. But we were also really lucky, because we like put out a bunch of EPs during the pandemic and had some time to just like get a lot of things out, and then kind of sit down and be like, okay, now we can make a second album. And
because I think the writing process is where we felt the pressure, and it was like we wrote a lot of songs that we were just like, these are okay, you know what I mean? And then we sort of got into a rhythm where I guess we sort of got over the pressure of it, and I think a bit of it also motivated us, like not being happy with the songs, you know what I mean? It makes you look internally and you're like, am I not connecting authentically with writing? Like, what's going on? And then after that, we wrote like our favorite songs, you know what I mean? So there was something that happened, and then I think when that started happening, we were like, okay, this record we're gonna be really happy with. So
did you write a lot of songs for the album that didn't make it?
Oh yeah.
How many are left?
Lots.
Yeah.
Some
probably 30
on a deluxe maybe, but yeah, there's a lot. I think total we wrote how many songs?
It's like 50 songs or something like
50?
that.
I mean, plus all that. I feel like
plus
unfinished demo. It's probably like 100.
There's probably
of random ideas, but a lot.
Yeah. Do you have any favorites from the album that weren't singles that you're excited for artists or for the audience to hear?
Would you like to start?
Mickey has one.
Yeah.
What?
Memories.
That didn't make it.
That didn't make it, or that did make it.
There's a song called Memories.
Guys,
that
petition for Memories.
Probably come out.
We're still gonna put it out.
The amount of demos that we love, like that just like maybe didn't fit on the album, like fit with the themes.
They always find their time though.
They always find their time, totally. Like Lost in Translation,
right?
the title track was written 3 years ago. It was written before the pandemic, and that was sitting in our Dropbox, and we did 2 EPs. It was still sitting in the Dropbox, and then the right time came.
Was that the first song then that you wrote for this album?
Technically,
Yeah.
yes.
That and Fishbowl.
I would say that, and Fishbowl.
What was the last? Do you know?
We Don't Need Malibu.
Yeah.
Literally, we got this house. We needed an environment change, and we got this big kind of A-frame 60s house in Beechwood Canyon in California. And basically, this house hasn't been touched in like since the 60s. It was just like, it had good juju. Basically, just moved it like all our studio gear in. We set up 3 studios, and we just wrote like 3 songs a day with all our friends. It was like the craziest time ever. We have a documentary coming out about it, so people will be able to see kind of what that's like. A mini doc. Yeah. That song, literally, we were packing up the studios the last day to go. We had to fly to the Grey Cup the next day, and literally we're like scrambling to pack all our stuff, and Alex and our friends just like started this like groove, and just like
Matthijs, you and myself
and David and Agrin.
It was funny because it actually transitioned through the house through like 3 different areas. Like there was this roof where you could literally climb up to the H of the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
There was a ladder right there.
It
was wild.
It was a dream.
And so we started up there with a guitar thing, or maybe that was
the guitar thing, and then you guys started singing, and then there was like a drum kit in the room, so I started kind of doing a thing. We voice noted that, then used that voice note in the song, and the guitar voice note, and then we were packing up their studio, because we had like 3 studios set up, and theirs was like outside on a balcony, and we started like taking their speakers away as they were finishing writing the song. We were like, keep going, but we need to return
But
these.
we literally need to pack.
It was sick.
And it made it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. When did you first notice that you had a big following in Asia?
1999. Like, honestly, that
that's what
song kind of hit radio there, and like it just kind of connected. And I think Asia in general for us is just connected for whatever reason. I think they have such a love for like bands in particular. I think they have such a fascination with just what we do and the music we make, and maybe it's our camaraderie. I don't know. Maybe there's something that there's a magic that just connects over there with us, and
I admire that, honestly.
Yeah, it's
go bands, groups.
They really just
that make music together. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. We're still figuring it out. But the more we go to Asia, like we're about to go on a full Asia tour and do headlines all around. So I think we'll learn more of why, because we're kind of going in blind too. We've played in South Korea before at a festival, but now we're going to Japan. We're going everywhere, just doing our own shows. So it's gonna be nice to kind of connect with them for the first time on a real level and be like, hey, like, tell us like why you love our band. Like, I'm actually really curious because
why do you like them?
Why do you? Because we love them. Like, they just show us so much love, and it's a whole other world there. Like, we land at the airport there, and there's fans at the airport.
Right.
Like, it's
there's like massive amounts.
It's unbelievable. Like, that doesn't happen in Toronto.
The gate agents made us sign like
the boarding passes.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
They knew our band. It was so.
It's so special.
And that's got to be like a different world.
It literally
step into.
It is,
yeah.
and they treat you like you're like famous or something, and we're like,
It's because you are. Karah, I want to talk to you, co-director, Natural music video.
Yeah.
Woo. How was that experience?
It was awesome. Like, so Rob and I talked about this like concept very early on when the song was written, based on the lyric like "Country in Nashville, baby we're natural." And we were thinking it would be really funny to do this very campy version of like a sort of a dive bar, rural America, 1990s. Like, it was an opportunity for us to play characters, which is something that we don't normally get to do
the
in
acting
our
chops
videos.
from all of you.
It was just alternate versions of ourselves.
Alex is the true actor.
Yeah.
I was honestly though.
Yeah.
I know he played a big bad tough guy, which he's like literally the
but
nicest
it's
person
suited
we
you
all
too.
know. So,
But
it was super cool. Like, I wrote the treatment, so just like from the band side, we always like to have a voice coming from the band. So I was kind of just like the liaison for this project, and we worked with Oliver, who we do most of our stuff with. He's amazing, and I don't know anything about like technical like camera shots and lenses and all this stuff, so he was there to do that stuff, and I was kind of there to just like see out our vision and make sure that like these certain scenes. There was this one scene in the bathroom where Chris, the lead, is sort of standing, and there's all these boys like around him, like smoking fake cigarettes, but still cigarettes, and like combing their hair and like bumping into him and stuff. And that was a scene that I ripped from this movie called Thelma and Louise, which she had just, if you haven't seen the movie, she shoots a guy, and then she like goes into the bathroom and she's like thinking about like what she just did, and like it's this whole dramatic moment, and I've always wanted to recreate that scene.
Okay, in Lost in Translation, there's the kind of the lyric about misconceptions that your friends have about you, that you're like making lots of money and things like that. Is there any other misconceptions that you feel like people have of you?
I think this is a misconception in almost like every career, but people only see the highlight reel, of course. And that's actually why I'm really grateful for interviews like this and like moments where you can be very vulnerable and like talk about your experience. But it's like writing songs and playing, like the time that you're actually playing shows and everything is like 15% of what we do. And it's like, that is like an incredibly gratifying part of the process, but it is like difficult to do the rest of the thing that you didn't realize you were signing up for. So it's like finding the gratitude in that, for the fact that we can make music for a living and we get to tour and we get to play shows and we get to meet incredible people and we get to like touch people's lives as well, you know, because there's artists that have touched our lives, and like the fact that we get to do that for other people is incredible. But it's like, I think people see it as like this glamorous thing. Like it blows my mind that even friends from high school like literally think I'm like famous, and I'm like, you don't understand, like there is
the reality.
There's literally zero like I go through the exact same things that you do, and like it's just crazy to me, because it's like we're all just living the human experience, and for some reason like people don't understand that, and like I don't think I understood that either until people started thinking of it as me, and I'm like, literally not at all.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops.
There we go. We'll
And
leave
you
it at
can't
that.
poop on a tour bus, so there you go.
Yeah.
That is life. Thank you guys.
On that note, Lost in Translation is out now.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shannon.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.